Hi, hello. My name is Katja Meden, and I am presenting this on behalf of our CLARIN.SI team. Together with Špela and Tomaž, we have designed the CLARIN.SI survey on users' experiences and development priorities for CLARIN.SI. So the CLARIN.SI Slovenian node of CLARIN was established in 2014 and is a research infrastructure in the field of language technologies, natural language processing, as well as large language model development. Um, we cover a wide array of services that our users can work with CLARIN.SI representing kind of the core service that we offer. It currently um, encompasses over 700 entries in various different languages. And in addition to the repository, in addition to that is also Core Trust CO certified. We also offer different installations of concordance. For example, we offer 3 different versions of the NoSketch engine, as well as context concordancer. Um, and in addition to that, we also offer different resources and tools. So given that we have recently celebrated a 10-year anniversary of CLARIN.SI's existence, we had decided to gather feedback from our user community in a form of an online survey. So we were collecting feedback not only from our already existing members of our community, but also trying to engage different new members of the community. So this was limited to Slovenian context only. It was only in Slovenian. It had 50 questions in total and was disseminated through various academic, educational, and professional networks in Slovenia. With this, we gathered responses from 170 participants in total, though the actual number of the responses varies from question to question. This questionnaire was designed in 3 different thematic sections. First one regarding the general question of who are our users, collecting demographic data from them. And the second one, the bulk of this questionnaire, was directly related to the evaluation of the services that we offer by our users. And lastly, we also seeked feedback on different areas of improvement as well as development priorities from our users. So if we move on to the first section, we asked the question of who are our respondents. So, for example, the age groups that our respondents mostly come from, the most prominent one being the 35 to 44 age category. However, our respondents' age groups are very diverse. In terms of gender, we have more than 50% of women respondents and 36% of men. Additionally, also with percentages from either another gender or people not preferring to disclose this information. In terms of affiliations, most of our respondents come either from research institutions or the higher education institutions. However, we also have people from cultural institutions, schools, nonprofit organizations, and in terms of other category, also media houses and libraries. In terms of disciplinary background, most of our respondents come from the field of humanities. They are mostly researchers, students, as well as people who work with technical and administrative roles. And we also ask them if their work is related to language in any way, shape, or form. Within this, it is not surprising that our results show that most of our respondents come from the language technologies, as well as other fields of linguistics. But 13% of our participants do not actually conduct any language-related work. Lastly, for this section, we asked them how familiar and if they are actually familiar with our infrastructure. So we had a third of our respondents having no previous experience with CLARIN, and those that did have experience reported having experience directly with using the text analysis tools as well as using the data from our repository. Moving on to the second section, we took a look at how do our respondents evaluate CLARIN.SI services and tools, starting with questions on CLARIN.SI repository, both from the data submission and the data use questions or point of view. In terms of data submission, our respondents highlighted the trust and reliability of our repository for data safekeeping, importance of this repository for open science, as well as data reuse, increasing visibility of their own work, and helpful and timely support by our repository help desk to help them with the data preparation process. In terms of challenges, we had people reporting that the license selection information might not be as clear as it should be, that there are some challenges still presented from the submission workflow and metadata entry, as well as having the guidelines a bit more clear and available to them. In terms of data use, the strengths directly related to the reliability and the download of the data from our repository, and also having very diverse and high quality resources. And in terms of challenges, the people reported having the need for more data, metadata clarity, easier search of our resources, etc. And for suggestions, in addition to everything else, most of the respondents highlighted the need for post-submission edits, which is currently only available through contacting one of the editors of the repository, as well as download statistics for them to track the use of their tools. In terms of tools and concordancers, most of our respondents report having using the no sketch engine Bonito, which is the older version with slightly older UI, but has a bit more wide array of functionalities for them to use, followed by Crystal with a bit more, with the newer UI and different array of functionalities. We also asked them to rate their agreement on different statements regarding our tools. And most of our installations on concordancers and tools received high rates. And this also holds true for our tools such as Corpusnik and Santa, which were also very much rated highly for their user-friendliness and interface design. In addition to our tools, services, resources that we offer, we also ask them how do they keep in touch with us, either through events or communication channels. It turns out that best attended events are, of course, our language technologies and digital humanities conferences, as well as accompanying workshops such as the Class Lab workshop and the Yota lectures. They received high ratings in terms of expertise, both content and organizational-wise, the clarity of the information provided. And what was highlighted as a challenge was the lack of or not as readily available materials after the events conclude. So this is something that we really need to hopefully address in the future. And in terms of suggestions, our respondents highlighted the need for broader thematic coverage. And through the communication channels, most people engage with us through our website news, as well as Class Lab mailing list and smaller shares, also social media channels. And we also proposed a newsletter idea, so CLARIN.SI newsletter, which received mixed support. In terms of the last section, we asked them about future development priorities and where should CLARIN.SI focus its next steps. So this was split in two sections. First, we asked our respondents of what would motivate respondents to use CLARIN.SI. So this was a question directed directly to those that reported having no previous experience with CLARIN.SI. And the answers highlighted the need for better awareness of the infrastructure's existence as well as structure, which makes perfect sense. If you don't know that something exists, you can't really use it. Also highlighting the need for good practice information about the updates, having to keep in touch with us. There was less need for more technical support or wider range of resources. However, 12% of our respondents still indicated that CLARIN.SI is not relevant to their work whatsoever. And this was the themes that were kind of seen in the actual answers, were also seen in the open comments, where one of the most emphasized theme was that we need a stronger outreach, as well as increased social media presence. So to have awareness of what we offer, what we have, and also integration into formal education. So directly connecting this with a formal education. Lastly, we asked our respondents who reported having previous experience with CLARIN.SI of what do they see as key development priorities for us. So there was a high proportion of I cannot assess, kind of signifying that maybe our respondents have experience with our infrastructure, but only in different aspects of them. As the highest priority, the development of new tools, having better management or maintenance updates, filling the data gaps of the resources was highlighted as key, as well as integration of our tools and our offer with other services. This was also then seen in the open-ended question themes, which kind of repeated the need for more visibility, more discoverability, um, greater pedagogical integration, as well as filling the data gaps. So, in conclusion, the survey results show that our infrastructure is well regarded by our users, especially in terms of data reliability, the support that we have for open science, and the help of guiding our users through different challenges that they might have. However, we still have some challenges to address, especially in terms of visibility, submission workflow, data preparation. And for this, we first both try to identify the key areas of improvement that are within our influence to address. This, again, in conjunction with CLARIN.SI strategy, which was done last year. And to support this on the more European level, we also plan to repeat this survey with the translation of this questionnaire. And with this, I thank you for your attention.
Hi, thank you very much for your presentation. I think it's very important that we continue to build on these kind of resources. On the other hand, I think when you're talking about the visibility, I very often feel that it's not the visibility of the tools that's the problem, but it's the visibility of the use of the tools. So it would be more interesting to actually make use cases better visible and to communicate about those so that when people hear about how colleagues or other students have been using these kind of tools, that will be a better way of communicating about it. So the inclusion that I really liked is to include it also within the educational curriculum. I think that's vital.
Thank you for your question and comment. So this is one thing that I was not able to emphasize in this presentation is one of the key suggestions that we also got was exactly that, not only the visibility of the infrastructure, but also having, in terms of news, but in terms of developing tutorials, having more training materials of how to actually move from just storing the data to having a repository to actually moving to kind of guide the users on how to use them. So yes, this is one of the things that I think should be really taken into account. Thank you.
Okay, then we go to Jan.
Thank you for this presentation. Maybe a little bit of kind of follow up to what Alice said. It is my experience that if you use a tool, then you complain most of it about because you know especially what it cannot do. And so if there are real users, I would expect that you would get a lot of requests for, yeah, can you add this or can you do this?
Yes.
And my question is, did you get that feedback? Because that is an indication that it's actually used. So actually your figure should be lower. That would be better actually.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. We did have like the open-ended questions in terms of the tool evaluation. Both the tool evaluation as well as the repository highlighted the need to, well, maybe at this function, it would be best if we had additional resources that we can use on this tool for this concordance. So why can't we have additional functions? So yes, we did get this kind of results, but we are kind of limited in how much we can actually approach this. So hopefully we will have and we will be able to address this. But yes, this is an indicator that yes, the tools are used.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Catherine.
A question about that, what you're saying is if your repository, you're hosting also tools from other people. And how far do you think it's your responsibility to enhance tools that have been made by other parties which you're hosting, or is that not the case in your center?
Yes, I think that as providing different resources for our repository for our users, I think we need to do as much as we can. However, if we are limited by the technology that we use, we either want or will hopefully have a contact with the people that can help us, like, getting over this challenge. Uh, but it will probably take a lot of time, a lot of resources. But if that will help our users to actually engage more and have more use out of our resources, I think that is an important step to actually take.